No.
No? What are you doing?
Playing with this.
That's cool.
Man!
See, the only way you can get off the dub is by stopping.
It is?
Yeah.
How about you, Josh?
No. See, now looky here. You just go.
Back in '66, you were tracking places we were. We had days. Now, when the figures apart, and we see what to do.
Have me come out more and see it to your left. Well, don't point at him. Now up in the air. Well, get off where you see it. Look again. Let's try it again. Stay there. Try it again. Drop the gun! 12-gauge shotgun has rightfully become a basic police weapon. Its effectiveness in riot control and the use against barricaded gunmen is unequal. From a law enforcement point of view, it has distinct advantages over the more small arms in the police arsenal. This is a Remington Model 870 12-gauge pump shotgun. It's a standard weapon used by the Albuquerque Police Department. For you to properly handle this weapon, there are a few basic things that you should be aware of and should know. Briefly, this is the stock of the weapon. This is the loading port, and this is the magazine. This is the ejection port. This is the forearm grip, and of course, this is the barrel. For this weapon to be properly cycled, you should also be aware of the safety, where it's located, and then when you look at the safety and you see the red showing, the weapon is ready to fire. This, inside, are the shell latches. They hold the shells inside the tube. They have a right and left shell latch. The action bar lock here enables the weapon to be released when a shell has been chambered or the gun has been cocked. To properly load this weapon, it takes 5 rounds for the weapon to be fully loaded. First round should be put in the loading port up into the tube. If the weapon is cocked, release it, chamber that round, making sure that the weapon is on safety. You then take the other 4 rounds through the loading port and up into the tube. The weapon is now fully loaded. Is ejected. The next round will then come up and be rechambered. This process is repeated till the amount of rounds that you wish to fire has been done. To properly unload this weapon, when there is a round in the chamber, again, you would depress the action bar lock to release the slide. You should use your little finger as a guide and position it just below the fore-end grip. You bring the slide down till your little finger is touching the magazine, the bottom part of the magazine. This brings the shell out of the chamber and out. You then depress the shell guide and push it down all the way out. Then you complete your recycling of that first action and let your second round fall out. Then in this position, you reach in and depress the right shell latch. Depress it. This enables another round to come out of the tube. This is repeated until the gun is completely unloaded. When you take over a vehicle and check your shotgun, when you start the unloading process, when you start to open when the loading port is starting to come open, if it hasn't been stored properly, you will notice that there is no round in the chamber. There will be no round inside of it. After you have completely unloaded the gun, it would be a good idea to then check for any obstructions in the weapon's magazine and in the barrel. For this weapon to be properly stored in the vehicle, you should have 4 rounds in the tube, nothing in the chamber. The gun should be on safety and locked with an electronic lock in the vehicle. 12-gauge shotgun has rightfully become a basic police weapon. Its effectiveness in riot control and the use against barricaded gunmen is unequal. From a law enforcement point of view, it has distinct advantages over the more small arms in the police arsenal. This is a 12-gauge Remington Model 870 pump-action shotgun. For you to properly handle this weapon, there are a few things that you should know. Briefly, this is the stock of the weapon. This, of course, is a trigger housing. This is a shell guide. This is a loading port into the magazine or tube. This is the ejection port. This is the forearm grip. And of course, this is the barrel of the weapon. For this weapon to be properly cycled, it is also important for you to know that the safety, when it's in a fire position, you will be able to see red. The weapon is ready to fire. This is the bar lock release. The bar lock release, which enables the weapon to be cycled when it is either cocked or there is a round in the chamber. This gun, to be fully loaded, requires 5 rounds. Those 5 rounds to be loaded, it should be done in this manner. The first round to be put into the loading port and up into the magazine, making sure that it goes far enough where it does not come out and jam the weapon. Then, if the gun is cocked, using the bar release, the bar lock release, start the cycle of the weapon. This brings the shell up and into the magazine. Make sure that the weapon is on safety. You then take the other 4 rounds and put them up into the tube. This weapon is now fully loaded. For it to be fired and start the cycling process, the first round is fired. Then the forearm is brought back, ejecting the first round out, putting the other round up into the chamber. This process is repeated for the number of rounds that the shooter wants to fire. For this weapon to be properly unloaded, when there is a round in the chamber or it's cocked, the action bar release should be pressed. Your little finger should be right at the bottom of the forearm grip, using it as a measuring guide. You bring this forearm down till your little finger is touching the magazine, the edge of the magazine here. This brings the round out of the chamber, which you can do in this manner. You then take the shell guide and you press it where it is all the way up. When you've done this, you can complete the slide action. This brings a second round out of the tube. Then using the shell latches, which are located on the inside of the loading port here, a right and left shell latch, you press the right shell latch. This will enable another round to come out. You continue this procedure until the weapon is unloaded. In storing the vehicle and loading it, putting it into the police vehicle, the gun is unloaded, the weapon is unloaded, and you have ascertained as such, it would be a good idea to check that there are no instructions either in the barrel or the magazine. You then bring the slide all the way forward, locking it into place. You press the trigger where it is off, it is not cocked. You then take the proper 4 rounds and put it into the weapon, using the procedure for loading. The gun is now ready for storage in the vehicle. It's placed in the electronic lock in the vehicle. It enables you, if and when you need to pull out of the vehicle, it is ready to immediately start firing once the cycling process has been completed. The 12-gauge shotgun has rightfully become a basic police weapon. Its effectiveness in riot control and use against barricaded gunmen is unequal. For law enforcement,
Rolling black. What do you know, man?
The 12-gauge shotgun has rightly become a basic police weapon. Its effectiveness in riot control and use against barricaded gunmen is unequal. From a law enforcement point of view, it has several distinct advantages over the more common small arms in the police arsenal. This is a Remington Model 870 12-gauge pump-action shotgun. It is the standard issue for the Albuquerque Police Department and the police units. For you to properly handle this weapon, there are a few basic things that you need to know. Briefly, this is the stock of the weapon. This is a trigger housing, of course a trigger. Below that is the safety. This here is the bar lock release. This is the shell guide. This is the loading port. And this is the magazine, or the tube. This is the ejection port. This is the fore-end grip. And of course, this is the barrel. For recycling of this weapon, two of these features are important to be aware of. Of course, the safety, and another when the safety is not on or is off, and there's a red showing on the safety, the gun is ready to fire. But the action bar lock enables the gun to be cycled when there is a round in the magazine or the gun is cocked. For this gun to be properly loaded requires 5 rounds, and it should be done in this manner. You take the first round and put it into the loading port and up into the tube. Pushing it far enough, when you release it, it is caught by the shell latches and does not come out and jam the weapon. If the gun is cocked, you use the action bar release and chamber the first round, making sure the weapon is on safety. You then take the other 4 rounds and place them up into the tube. The weapon now is fully loaded. For it to be cycled, when the shooter fires the first round, he then starts the slide action, bringing the first round out of the chamber, and then bringing it back forward, pushing the second round up into the chamber. This is repeated for a number of times the shooter wishes to fire. For this weapon to be properly unloaded, when there is a round in the chamber, you should use your little finger as a guide, placing it right below the fore-end grip. You then depress the action bar release, start the slide action back. When your little finger just starts to touch the edge of the magazine, you then have your shell out of your chamber. You then depress the shell guide and complete the slide action. This brings the second round of the weapon. And then using the shell latches, which is inside of the loading port, the right and left shell latch, depress the right shell latch. This will bring another round out of the tube. This is continued until the weapon is empty. For this weapon, when you go on patrol, and for this weapon to be properly stored in the vehicle, if it has been properly stored, for you to check it, you get the weapon out of the vehicle, using your bar lock release, start your slide action. If it has been properly stored, it will not be around in the chamber. You then use the unloading procedure to properly and fully unload the weapon. When it is unloaded, it would be a good idea to look for obstructions in the chamber and in the barrel. You then bring the slide action completely forward, locking it into place. Fire the weapon when it's empty. Leave it off of safety. You then take the proper 4 rounds and put them into the weapon.